Hello, welcome to Lessons Learnt. I'm Sherry. Blue is here. Look, he has a fresh haircut. He's so handsome. He's so handsome. Yes, he is, and he smells like a gentleman. Yes, he does. He smells good. Can you tell that you smell good? You're telling him, aren't you? The iron is beeping off. That means the iron's going to go cold on us. Oh, my. That's emergency. Are you being a good boy today? He is being a good boy today, and he wanted to jump up and say hi. I know that's corny, but you know, we humans, we think our fur children are our real children, so that's for us, isn't it? But they love it too. They love it that we love on them. Do you want to go sit on your beanbag chair? You want to take a little nappy poo? Let's do it. Let's do it. There you go. All right. So, this week, you just never know how a week is going to go. It went okay. It really did go okay. The only thing I got into after I did the Wednesday video was my garden charm applique. And you know, I had finished this one block on last week's Wednesday video for the sew along. What I have done so far is all of the green on all of the other 7 blocks. I have those stitched down. And I have just started, actually I have all of these ironed down, and I want to go ahead and iron the flower down, and then I'll get into stitching those next. Not much left to do on these, and I can go ahead and put that round of border on the garden charm. So hopefully I can get that done before the end of the month. I feel certain that I'll get it done real soon. So going back to the Wednesday video of this week was piecing a backing and matching a design, a pattern match on fabric like this that has a big print. Because if you just sew 2 pieces side by side, it just leaves this weird stripe on the back of your quilt, which it's the back of the quilt. Some people don't mind that, and that's okay. If that's your thing, then that's what you should do. But let me see if I can find it. If you watch the video, you know that well, where is it? You know that I have shown you this. See, it's so good I can't find it. Oh my goodness, where is it? Right here. It's right here. See, it's so good you can't see it. It's right through here. If you got up real close, you could tell that there's something not quite right on some little areas, tiny areas. But with all those pins that we used to put it together, it held it in place while I was sewing, and I am happy with my pattern match. And then I also put this strip to make up the difference, and I love the pantograph or edge-to-edge design. We don't really call them pantographs unless you use those paper. You know, they used to, it was the only way you could it was one way that you could long arm, is you put this big long paper down that has a design, and then you kind of mimic the design with the handlebars, and you would get it on there. That's a pantograph. This is actually an edge-to-edge design, which the computer does it. So this is called Ivory Tulips, and if you look, there is a tulip in there somewhere. Let's see. Here's one right there. See it? So it's called Ivory Tulips, and I used a cream colored thread. I was going to use the natural white, but I thought this could handle the cream okay. Actually, it looked a little bit better in my opinion. The cream, you could have went the natural white with it, but that's what I chose. I had a new spool of it. And the antique, I always want to call it antique white. The natural white gets used a lot. So I thought, I'm just going to use that cream. It looks good. I think it looks good. And if you go back on the Wednesday video, you'll see a full picture of this. So this is the front more or less. And then this is the backing. Part of it's this at the top. And the other half is this. And I have to tell you a funny story. I was telling my friend this story yesterday. I got to thinking, you know what? There's a bird in this. Did I get that bird upside down? I had to get up out of bed, about to go to sleep. I had to get up out of bed and make sure that I had those birds straight up and down. Not like I could have done a thing about it if it wasn't. Maybe lost some sleep. But I happened to get it straight up. See the little birds? So this is the top of the quilt. And it's the top according to the blocks, because I did fussy cut some of my blocks. I know this is driving you crazy that I'm wallowing this, but I don't know that I have one on the top here, but more towards the bottom I have blocks that have things fussy cut for the centers, and that's how I knew that that was right side up for my quilt. Here's one. As a matter of fact, the little bird makes an appearance right there. Mark keyed in on this block. He said he liked this block. So that's how I knew how I wanted to load it on the machine. So everything's right side up, matched together. I'm happy with this quilt. It turned out great. So that's one more long-armed project out of the way, and I have a few more to do. Probably more than a few. But moving right along, we'll see what comes up on the long arm next. Stay tuned. Or if you're on Facebook, I usually post a reel out there of me getting started with the long arming on a new quilt, or somewhere along the line in the process if you want a sneak peek before the videos come out that feature those quilts. That is all. That is all that I touched this week as far as sewing and quilting. So I guess we can go ahead and get into your finishes for this week. We have some lovely ones. So hang on, here we go. First up is Janice. And Janice has a sweatshirt that she did based off of the sweatshirt video I did a couple weeks ago. She says, enjoy your videos and visiting with you 3 times a week. I always look forward to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is my attempt at the sweatshirt project. Bought a new sweatshirt today to try again next week. And I happened to get Janice's other one as well, but I want to show this first one here. She did a, looks like maybe a paper pieced star, and she put a border around it and did some nice quilting around that border. And I think it looks great on the gray t-shirt. I love that. And then her other one is her new sweatshirt project, and she bought a purple sweatshirt, and she said this is an Elizabeth Hartman owl block that was left over from a quilt. So very happy you showed us how to do this. So this is the reverse applique that I showed you, and look, she's put an extra orphan block from another project on this shirt. It looks nice, and you can see you can use any shape that you want. The one I have on today is a rectangle going horizontal, and here her owl is a rectangle going vertically. So there's just all sorts of ways that you can fashion these beautiful quilt blocks onto your sweatshirts. I want to make some more. The next one is from Karen, and Karen has finished her peach preserves. She says, this was so fun joining you on sewing this up. peach preserves pattern was outside my comfort zone because I have never worked with diamonds and triangles in a quilt. It turned out so nice when the stars came together. Yeah, that's the fun of it, isn't it? You do all this work to get these diamonds, and then when you put them together, they turn into stars. It's lovely, and I love your borders that you used around yours. I need to start thinking about mine. Do I want to put a border around mine? I don't think I was originally planning to, but this makes me want one. Great job, Karen. Next we have Shirley, and Shirley saw my Hemingway pouch pattern that I acquired on Monday's show of this week, and she says just this last Saturday our guild had a class for that. So she sent in her pictures of what she accomplished in the class. She says, here's the pouch I did. It is the extra large. That's the one with the polar bear on it. The small one was made from the piece cut off from the cut made doing the big one. Only I used lining inside out. It is large enough to hold my cell phone. Okay, very good. So, awesome. I've seen this panel. It's not really a panel, is it? It's like yardage, but it has a big polar bear scene on it. So she kind of fussy cut that polar bear to fit on the front of her Hemingway pouch. Very nice. And then she says the small size, her cell phone will fit in that. And she used another part of that piece of fabric there to match. So very good. I'm getting anxious to want to try one of these, and thanks to all of you who sent hints into me about where to acquire zippers for these. Appreciate it. Next we have Liz. Liz has she made a set of 12 of these fall themed placemats for her large table. So she can host 12 people and have a beautifully decorated fall table with these lovely placemats. You see we have a braided type of design on one side, and then the cornucopia and pumpkins and sunflowers on the other. That is just going to make a beautiful table. She says, I enjoy seeing all the beautiful finishes each week. And she said this is the first time she sent in for Finish It Friday. So we look forward to seeing more of your items that you finish each week. Liz, she is from Southwest Missouri. Next we have Linda. Linda has been busy with her Sew Sampler projects. I don't know if you do them, Linda, as soon as you get them, or you just decided to tear into them. But she has several here, and she did send another email with more of them, and she said use them for a future show. But I tell you what, Linda, I'm going to show them all now because I will probably lose that extra email if I don't show them now. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to show you off right here. All of them. She says, last week I decided it was time for a long arming marathon, just as you. I started on some of my pile of Sew Sampler projects. I'm sending 2 pictures, although I know you prefer only one. That is fine. The first, I finished the July Serenade quilt. She says, only change to the pattern is an additional border to add a bit more size and color. So that was the green border that she added to that. Yes, that fabric line is beautiful, but it is very, very subdued. So I think you did the right thing by adding the green. The second pictures show what I made with the leftover fabric from this. She says, I dislike having piles of fabric, corner cutoffs to throw away. So I made identical blocks with those cutaways and used them for a table runner and a topper. Yes, very, very good. This is the kind of thing that I want to start doing more of, as well as when I get done with the project, just go ahead and make some other things out of the extra fabric. And look what she yielded out of her scraps. 2 table toppers, well, a table topper and a table runner. And I love how you rounded the corners on your table runner. That's good. And then she said, I I did purchase a finishing kit and an additional yard of the green fabric, but all of the piecing was done with the fabric in the sew sampler box. I think I have enough little pieces left to make a couch pillow to go along with the quilt someday. Yeah, very good, very good. And then the other one that she sent was 2 more sew sampler box projects. It's the May and the June. And she said the first one is called Wise Guys. This was my first adventure into Tula Pink fabrics. And she says, I think that quilt will probably end up being donated because, I don't know if it's because of this, but she has a funny story. She says, my husband and my granddaughter both saw cats instead of owls. I can kind of see why that might be. I feel like we need to put some feet on that owl or something, or maybe a tail, and just make them cats. Interesting. Now you got me thinking. I have not made this project yet. I have all of it, of course, from the sew sampler box, but yeah, I see what you mean. So the second picture shows my finished Gâteau quilt. That was one of the sew sampler boxes too. I wasn't very excited about this quilt, although I do like the fabric. But after adding a colorful border, I think it will work fine. I used the beautiful 108 wide back on the back of that one, and now plan to make pillows that will coordinate with the quilt and will show off that pretty print, the white background with the coral flowers. So yes, this is the one with the Coriotor of Bloom panel. We got that in the sew sampler box along with this Gâteau pattern and I don't remember if it was a roll of fabric or a few fat quarters. I can't remember, but did you cross stitch your panel pieces, or did you just use them as they were? They're meant to be used either way. But I like it. Now, see what putting borders on something can do? I kind of like that pattern now. But I'm using one that Mark made up for me that's a little different. I've been showing that to you each month as I get the blocks done. So, very good getting on that long arm extravaganza that I'm on. She says, I always enjoy watching Show and Tell on Fridays and hope others will enjoy seeing what's been happening up here in Alaska. Yes. So we have Alaska people today, Shirley and Linda. Glad to have ya. Great finishes, Linda. The next one is Kayleen. She says, I hope this finds you doing well. Yes, it does. This is a panel quilt top that finished at 50 by 58. I originally made it for myself as a wall hanging, but recently decided to give it to a friend. After some deliberation, I decided that I just couldn't part with it. So there was only one thing to do. Source out another panel, and thankfully I was successful. This fabric is called Playground by Amaryllis Henderson. I think it's just beautiful, both the message and the colors. Have a great week. Thank you. Kayleen did great on this panel quilts. I love panel quilts. I like this one with all the different print fonts on it, as well as the lovely coordinating fabric. Nice and bright. Love it. And I don't blame you for wanting to keep one for yourself. Very pretty. The next one is Anja. She says, how are you and Mark? We're doing pretty good, thank you. She says, here is my New York Beauty finished. It's from the pattern from Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. She had a weekly pattern over 12 weeks to make this quilt, and she made 2 of each. Wow. She says, I wanted to make a New York Beauty for quite a long time. It was fun, but very time-consuming. I used some K facet fabric in every block, and I used also his fabric on the back. I didn't have enough, so I had to piece the backing. For the border, I pieced scraps from the blocks onto register paper. I like how it turned out. Thank you for showing all our quilts. And as usual, Anja is from Holland. We love having her finishes on here. And look at that New York Beauty. That right there is a New York Beauty. She did it. And not only did she do this one, she did another one each week. I don't know if you have a whole nother quilt to do, or did you just double up on this quilt. Either way, beautiful, beautiful. And look how she took the scraps and put it on the register tape and sewed those on and ended up with those lovely scrappy border pieces there. And then on the back, we see she has a big piece of K facet in the middle, and then bordered that with some other pink fabric that matches very well. And she did some echoing, wavy echoing stitches for the quilting. Looks good. There's lots of movement on the front of the quilt there. Great job, Anja, as usual. Deborah has been busy. This is our jelly roll gal, but I don't know if she used jelly roll for this. I doubt it. This is the Sew Along Quilt Evening Glow from American Patchwork and Quilting from the December 2024 issue. It ended up very big and heavy at 84.5 inch square. I used the Pantograph Palm Beach, which was quite dense, and my 15-yard bolt of Marshall Dry Goods gray fabric is featured on the front and the back. I'm down to about 4.5 to 5 yards, and that will make one more backing. This is really pretty. See how colors bounce off of gray so well? I love that. And you've got like a 16 patch, and then a sawtooth star, and then an Irish chain going through there. Great pattern. That was from the December 2024 American Patchwork and Quilting magazine. And then Deborah sent another one. She says, I make about 2 of these a month out of my string bucket. So these are called string quilts. She says they are donated to local charities. Everyone contributes to the string bucket, so I have never reached the bottom. This is my version of matching plaids on the back. I don't. Way too much work. Thank you for saying to remove the selvages out of the center of the quilt back. I noticed that the cutoffs from the Evening Glow have already made it into this string quilt. And that's her close-up picture there. Hadn't bound it yet, but she's probably got that done by now. I love your string quilt. Very striking. Looks like jewels. And then your turquoise small border and then your big bold border just rounds it out really nice. And as she mentioned, she was not going to match that plaid, so she put her extra strip of fabric between the 2 pieces. So very good. Actually, it kind of looks like you did match it if you look at it really close. But putting something in between the 2 print pieces is an easier way, if you will, than pattern matching the fabric. Okay, we have another Debbie. Debbie from, she didn't say where she's from. She says, Cat in Pajamas pattern. This is a little wall hanging by Elizabeth Hartman. It took me all day to complete, but it was fun to make. I used Minky for the face and the tail. That was a challenge. The eyes need a little something. If anyone has any ideas, thought maybe some clear buttons so they would shine. Love the channel. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Debbie. Oh, that's so cool that you did it. The tail and the face in Minky. You know what I would put on them? I would get some gold buttons. You know how some black cats have those gold eyes? I think that's what I would try. Clear would be okay. They would kind of shine, like you said, a little bit. It'd be very subtle. But maybe like, see if you can find some gold buttons. All right, the next one and last one is from Ingrid, and she has 2 for us here. This is her Riley Blake 2025 Block Challenge, Riley Blake Challenge. That's the one that I did Wednesday. Mine was done in Porch Swing, and she has done hers in Lori Holt's Pieces and Plenty. Ingrid is from Florence, Alabama. Love your Lori Holt version. Very pretty. I think that's what they did in the actual, isn't that the fabric that they use for the challenge, or was it solids? I can't remember now, but it turned out really pretty. And then her other one is, she made this for a niece using Ruby Star Society's free pattern, Perfect Picnic Summer, and Ruby Star Society's fabric Carousel is what that is. So I think you can even find a kit of that maybe still. I'm not sure. But Ruby Star, the pattern is free, Perfect Picnic Summer, and the fabric is Carousel. Beautiful. You did great on your finishes this week, Ingrid. All right, that is it for this week. Let's get back to the video. Very nice finishes this week, everyone. And I'm sure there's many more out there in YouTube land that have finished some things up this week. If you've never ever sent in anything, like we had some new ones today, just send me an email with your photos and I'll be sure they'll get shown. Make sure you pay attention to the guidelines in the description box first before you send your finishes over, your photos, and then you can be included in one of the shows on Friday. So it's lots of fun for everybody, both on your end and on mine as well. And we want to keep this going as long as possible because everyone enjoys it so much. So let's get busy this weekend. I have a few things I want to wrap up. Hopefully I can wrap up my garden charm assignment for this month so that I'll be fresh for next month. So we've got a couple weeks yet, but almost 3 weeks. So I'm doing pretty good with this. I'm moving right along. So I should be able to get that done this weekend, I think. And then peach preserve still needs to be put together. So those are the things that are kind of waiting in the wings right now. And I would like to focus on this weekend if I have time to sew. I'm going to make some time to sew a little each day of this weekend if I can. And I hope you will join me in that because it's a lot of fun. And I will be back here on Monday for Monday Quilt Chat to see what's new in my quilty world and in the quilt world in general. All right, we'll see you then. Bye.